What is an unwritten law you abide by? Don't sit in a parking spot with your reverse lights on. If you're in reverse, be reversing. I hate when someone is just sitting there with the reverse lights on doing whatever the fuck they're distracted by. I don't want to pass behind in case they wake the fuck up and start obliviously backing up, but I also don't want to wait 5 minutes for them to move. You only get one different person to petty rant about to each of your friends, and you can't vice versa this. That is if you rant about friend to friend Z, you can't rant to friend Z about friend A, and you can't rant about friend A to friend B. This will prevent you from gossiping and using gossip to bond with other people. It will also prevent one of your friends from just being a rant dumping ground for you. It will also prevent you from developing a reputation for talking crap about people behind their back. BC, you have to limit the amount of negativity you're talking. Additionally, it will likely encourage you to actually talk with that friend about their negative behavior. Not sure if it's really unwritten, but no littering. It makes me so mad when I see someone throw a bunch of crap out of their car while driving. Can't they drive up to a fast food restaurant or grocery store and toss stuff in their outdoor trash bins? In some cases, they would not even have to get out of the car. People are lazy. Always have sympathy for everyone. I believe that there is no bad people in the world. There are bad circumstances. I always try to see the other person's point of view. I mean, for example, a criminal, I don't know the reason he or she committed the crime. I don't know what led up to that. I don't know his life story. What I do know is that his life might be ruined for what was likely a mistake, and I feel bad for him. You don't have to care about your family, especially if they don't care about you, or only do around Christmas time. I'm just saying I didn't ask to be child number 5 of a pedophile and someone who would rather hang out with their church friends than their own daughter. Sorry, not sorry. An opinion by definition cannot be wrong nor right. Morality and ethics are subjective. However, I think you mean never be afraid to revise your opinion if new information presents itself. However, that in and of itself is not admission of an opinion being wrong, more of a new part changing how you see the world. I feel this one on a spiritual level, and it applies to friends and family as well. Always bail on hanging out. Don't expect me to take you or you promises to hang out seriously, and don't be surprised when I make other plans. Treat me like shit, you get that right back, and don't get pissed off when I suddenly stop putting up with you. Steal my shit, get used to never being trusted again. When considering whether or not to upvote a comment on Reddit, ask the following, in this order: is it well-written, error-free, and contributory? Did you note for the amount of effort going into composing, proofreading, and formatting it? Is it the commenter's own original work? Is it uniquely informative, entertaining, or inspiring? If the answer to all of the above questions is yes, then it should be upvoted. If it's just that you agree with what the comment says, you should leave it alone. If the comment is disruptive, low quality, or vitriolic, then it should be downvoted. Granted, that's actually a slightly expanded upon paraphrasing of a written law of Reddit. But since so few people even read those laws anyway, it might as well be an unwritten one. David, here it is. My philosophy is basically this, and this is something that I live by, and I always have, and I always will. Don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone, for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where, or who you are with, or where you are going, or where you've been. Ever, for any reason whatsoever. Talk to anyone in customer service as if they are a human. Respect, understanding, and with emotions. Yesterday my bank account was not allowing me to access my own money because of a technical mix-up from a policy that was implemented over 10 years ago that had nothing to do with me. I was at the store getting basic groceries and only at checkout did I find out there was an issue. The lady behind the counter who was serving me pulled her wallet out and paid for it. I've been seeing her at checkout asking how she has been and what's her day been like she was a friend. Cause just venting to a good customer who understands you helps a lot. You bet I'm getting her a gift. If a door is closed, even if it isn't latched, assume that whoever is on the other side is doing something they want privacy for. Knock. Hey, it's me. I just want to grab. Specifically named item / I just want to do. Specific thing, because even in married life, sometimes walking in on an unlatched door means you witness something your spouse might prefer you didn't, even if that thing is just shopping for a birthday gift. Rule number 1, don't be a dick. AKA don't be that guy an asshole a piece of shit. Now, this doesn't mean don't be a dick in jest with your friends, and it doesn't mean don't be a dick to people when they really, genuinely deserve it. But it does mean to try your best to not be a dick for no real reason. Am I perfect? Raffle. No, I'm a horrible human being. But I try. Just because you can, doesn't mean you should. I can leave my cart in the middle of the parking lot ... but I shouldn't. So I don't. I can take advantage of friends and family ... but I shouldn't. So I don't. I can completely abdicate social responsibility and adopt the fuck you, got my mindset ... but I shouldn't. So I don't. Don't go to a restaurant within 1 to 20 minutes of them closing, especially if they already close late at night, especially dine in, especially if you're in a huge group. Your food will honestly be way better when all the employees aren't super ready to go home, anyway. I hard disagree. Evil should be confronted head-on and frequently. Ignorance is invitation. Inaction is complicity. There is no such thing as holding an ethical line without getting your hands dirty. The modern world would do well to remember this quickly. Things look stable, superficially, but trouble is brewing. I made the decision pretty early on in life that if I saw genuine injustice I would step in. If I hear a cry for help I will go. If I see a fire I will help. If I see someone fall and hurt themselves I will stop. You could just end up getting yourself into trouble, hurt or getting sued, etc. Fine, I won't turn my back and look the other way. If I get fucked over for trying to do the right thing then so be it. I'd rather die right than live wrong. The lowest point of your life is not right now. The lowest point of your life will do when you have nothing to live for, not even yourself. Cause even in hard times you still have family and friends who love you and care for you, and even if they don't you love yourself. But when you become someone you're not proud of them, that's when you have lost everything. I check on people's homes while they are away for extended periods. My unwritten law is that I must be above reproach. I would never snoop around someone's place, look in their dresser drawers, help myself to a beer in their fridge. Nothing. They are trusting me with their most valuable and potentially emotional asset. I can't ruin that trust. Once your reputation is shit, it remains shit. Okay, I googled it. PCI was lost too, and they seem to be specifically referring to if you resign from a job and your employer gives you a counter offer of staying on, usually for more money / revised conditions. No idea why they needed to phrase it in such annoyingly vague language, but I don't think they're referring to negotiating in general. Do not discuss politics or religion at work, with coworkers outside of work, with anyone you don't want to lose respect for, at family gatherings, specifically with your redneck uncle who has a goddamn American flag, bald eagle mural on the back window of his 22-year-old pickup truck. I used to think you were the fucking coolest uncle ever growing up, but goddamn man. What the fuck? These two topics are so insanely polarizing, and it's such an easy way for you to lose respect for someone, or have them lose respect for you, regardless of who's right or wrong. Fun story. I apparently first heard this phrase when I was a kid and I got the gist of it, but I thought it was a borrower nor a lender bee. I mean, there's honey bees, bumblebees, worker bees, queen bees. I was like, I guess you shouldn't be a borrower bee or a lender bee. I was 21 when I finally saw it written. I was in shock at my own stupidity for about a week. Always thank someone with a handwritten letter or a phone call for gifts, money, gift cards, letters, or cards given to you. Tangentially related: if someone sends me a random gift, buys me food, sends a letter, invites me to an event, etc., I always make sure to reciprocate, however, whenever possible. I believed the same thing for a very long time until my friend insisted on me going out with her ex. They are still friends and I told her no many times because you do not date friends' exes. I finally conceded to one date, figuring we'd realize we had nothing in common except her and never speak again. He and I just celebrated 2 years together. Edited to add, I'm fully aware that we are the exception and not the rule. There's one unwritten law that I wish everyone on social media would abide by: when there's even the smallest chance that the eyes of the world will be upon you, make your very best effort to entertain, inform, educate, or inspire, and always offer the highest quality of which you are capable. Write well, post only your own original content, attempt to add something unique to the world, and absolutely never substitute evidence-backed facts with speculation. If you're unwilling or unable to contribute in that way, and with that level of quality, feel free to consume. But consumption should be done in silence. After all, nobody likes it when you chew with your mouth open. Correct your mistakes, regardless of how seemingly inconsequential they might be, as soon as you become aware of them, and try your hardest to avoid repeating those mistakes in the future. If you are unable to correct the mistake, accept responsibility for it nonetheless. Above all, learn from it. In short, the unwritten law is as follows: if you can't contribute, improve yourself until you can. Until then, don't make it harder for others to contribute. Richtstehen, Linksstehen, which is the German term for our unwritten rule that when you use an escalator, you use the right side if you want to just stand around and take a chilled ride, and that you use the left side if you're in a hurry and want to speed up the ride by additionally walking up/downwards. They tried to officially abolish it in Munich, but we aren't having it. We Germans love our escalator rules. There was once a lady that came into the store I work at. She walked around for a good 20-30 minutes, talking with someone on the phone on speakerphone. She finally was ready to check out and she only had 2 items. When she found out one item was actually more expensive than what was listed on the shelf, she said, "Forget it, I won't buy it." The point I'm getting at with this story is that the other item was an ice cream sandwich that she must have grabbed first and was melting, which she promptly refused to buy and walked out. I have the utmost respect for retail, grocery store workers. That's slightly annoying, but seeing as underwear doesn't spoil, it's not nearly as annoying as people who don't put refrigerated items back in a fridge or frozen items back into a freezer. Then when some employee comes along later and finds it, we have to throw it away. It's so wasteful. Who decides they don't want something that they didn't pay for but doesn't want to take the effort to walk an extra 20 feet to prevent it from being wasted? That could be food for someone else. In April 2015, Autistic Abby wrote on their Tumblr about how people mistakenly conflate 2 distinct definitions of respect when relating to and communicating with others. Sometimes people use respect to mean treating someone like a person, and sometimes they use respect to mean treating someone like an authority. And sometimes people who are used to being treated like an authority say, if you won't respect me, I won't respect you, and they mean if you won't treat me like an authority, I won't treat you like a person. And they think they're being fair, but they aren't. And it's not okay. Oh man, this reminds me of an argument I have with my dad all the time. He is often put into a management position to oversee other people, but they don't pay him for the extra work and he still has to do his actual job as well. He complains all the time about how lazy his workers are and how they don't care and how they get paid way too much. They don't listen to me, blah 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 kind of shit. I keep telling him, they don't pay you to be supervisor, so it's not your problem. You aren't supervisor and don't have the authority that comes with the position and pay, and there are no consequences to ignoring you, so of course they will ignore you. They are only going to do what they feel they are being paid to do. He needs to complain about his pay, not his co-workers' pay. If his company wants him to do the work, they need to pay him. But he is a boomer and has that loyalty to the company at all costs mentality. Meanwhile, every single mistake gets laid on my dad, and more work. Sorry for the rant, it's just like so obvious. Want me to care? Pay me to care. That's how I see it. I don't owe a company jack shit. They pay me a fraction of the amount I make for them. That's the deal we made. Yes, you're right. Maybe it was a bad example. Obviously, it's a safety issue more than a nuisance issue. But making sure your kid doesn't get a sizzling fajita pan dropped on them by accident is pretty basic parenting. I totally agree with you. I was at a wedding where I basically had to follow a 3 years/show around to make sure she was safe. She went into the kitchen, the men's room, this was at a restaurant, pub with non-wedding guests, and even tried to climb the patio outside that went straight into the ocean. I remember I was like 5'6" in a McDonald's and me and my sister were sprinting around. About 20 seconds later I ran full speed into a table and smacked my forehead so goddamn hard. Must have been hella satisfying for everyone else though lol. Not even just for others' sake, but for their sake, too. I worked in a restaurant, and some parents would just let their toddlers and shit wander around while they stayed seated at their table. I remember when I found a 3-4-year-old waddling around a room away from his mom in a packed restaurant and almost lost my mind. I can't tell you how many times my instinct to swoop them up and scold the parent almost took over, but I had to remain professional. I don't mind a little rowdiness, but for the kids' sake, stop being inattentive. Took me until I was well into my 30s to learn this important lesson. In fact, even when you're not in doubt, it's best not to waste words. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so listen twice as much as you speak. In the words of the great Bo Burnham, can any one single person just shut the fuck up? Just shut the fuck up. One holiday season, I worked at Old Navy. 90% of my day was probably folded clothes after people left them in heaps all over the goddamn place. The jeans sections were the worst, with people looking for certain sizes and then shoving the rest in the little cubbies. Not even an attempt, they'd just ball it up and shove it in there. Often this meant having to take all the jeans out and fold them all, since you'd try to pull the unfolded jeans out, and they'd pull the perfectly folded ones out with them. It was easier to start all over. Bonus, I'm really good at folding clothes now. However, I'm so good at it that I cringe whenever I let my husband fold laundry since he doesn't do it correctly. I appreciate his help, but I sometimes have to refold his clothes for my sanity lol. As someone who was never in the military myself, but a military brat and now a military husband, the number of times that one of my husband's best mates gave me a come on was just distressingly non-zero. Like, bro, you have to trust my husband to save your life in a bad situation, and you're hitting on me while he's in the other room? Go fucking fuck yourself, you gross piece of shit. Give me a good reason not to tell him this happened. Oh wait, there is no good reason. This was kind of a big thing in the military. There's this presence of the idea that we're all best friends and brothers and sisters and inseparable and will die for everyone around us. I literally can't count the number of guys I'd see hit the pier overseas and take their rings off then head into town. Same guys would blow all their money, then come back to the ship asking for loans. We're boys, right? Question mark. No dude. Your own wife can't trust you. I don't believe a fucking thing you say.